The savannah stretched to the horizon under the scorching sun. Tall, dry grass rustled in the light breeze, and a small elephant calf walked cautiously beside its mother. It stretched its trunk toward every bush and sniffed the ground, exploring the world around it. Everything seemed calm, but there was a subtle sense of unease in the air, as if nature itself was warning of impending danger. Something moved nearby between the rocks and dried bushes. A shadow flashed and disappeared, its eyes fixed on the baby elephant. The mother noticed the movement, pricked up her ears, and began to carefully lead her baby toward a safer part of the savannah. The wind died down, and the grass stopped rustling, creating a feeling of tense anticipation. The baby elephant, playing and curious, lagged behind its mother for a moment and ran ahead, exploring small puddles and isolated bushes. Not far away, in the background, a large Komodo dragon lurked behind rocks and bushes, watching him. He was almost invisible to the baby, who was happily gurgling and had no idea that someone was watching him closely. The baby elephant played happily in the grass, occasionally stamping its feet on the soft ground and kicking up little clouds of dust. Suddenly, from behind the rocks and dry bushes in the background, a large Komodo dragon rushed out. Its massive body moved quickly and deftly, its long tail swaying, and its sharp claws leaving deep marks on the ground. The monitor lizard's head was lowered, its eyes alert and focused, and its tongue darted out quickly, sensing the smell of the baby elephant. The baby froze in place when it saw the unexpected movement and instinctively took a step back, sensing danger. The baby elephant jerked sharply to the side, trying to run away, but its little legs couldn't keep up with the speed of the Komodo dragon. It let out an alarming sound, a thin, gurgling cry, stamping its feet anxiously on the dry grass and soft earth. The monitor lizard moved after it almost silently, its massive paws deftly parting the grass, its long body bending, ready to strike. The predator's shadow flashed between the bushes, creating the feeling that danger was almost breathing down the baby's neck. At that moment, the baby elephant's mother noticed the impending threat. She instantly tensed her body, spread her ears, and trumpeted loudly, her cry echoing across the savannah, bouncing off rocks and bushes. The baby elephant froze when he heard his mother's voice and turned his head in her direction. The mother stepped forward, moving toward her baby with complete determination to protect him. The Komodo dragon froze for a moment, assessing the sudden threat, its eyes following the massive figure of the elephant. The baby elephant's mother rushed forward, trumpeting loudly and spreading her ears. Her massive body moved with unexpected speed for such a large animal. The Komodo dragon, sensing the threat, paused for a moment, but then abruptly retreated, writhing its entire body and swinging its long tail. The elephant, protecting her baby, lowered her head and trunk, showing her readiness to attack. Her feet trampled the ground, raising dust, and her gaze was fixed directly on the predator. The monitor lizard darted sharply to the side, but the elephant did not let him get away. She tried to hit it with her front leg, then made a short lunge with her head to scare it away. The Komodo dragon dodged, lashing its tail on the ground so that the dry grass flew in all directions. Meanwhile, the baby elephant jumped further and further away, but did not stop crying anxiously. The sounds of the struggle echoed across the savannah, the trumpeting of the elephant, the hissing of the monitor lizard, the pounding of heavy feet. A few kilometers away, a group of rescuers driving through the savannah in a jeep heard a strange rumbling and alarming sounds. They stopped the car, listened, and heard a sharp trumpeting. It could be a female elephant in distress. One of the people immediately pointed in the direction of the noise, and the rescuers began to move faster, heading towards the place where the sounds of struggle were coming from. Rescuers rushed to the scene and were met with an alarming sight. A huge elephant stood between her calf and a massive Komodo dragon, which was slowly approaching again, hissing despite her blows. The baby elephant cowered against its mother, letting out piercing cries, while the ground around them was trampled and covered with traces of the struggle. The rescuers instantly realized that they had to act quickly to prevent a tragedy. One of them took a long pole, another a thick stick with a cloth at the end, and the third began to shout and wave his arms, distracting the predator. They approached cautiously but decisively, shouting loudly and banging on the ground to force the monitor lizard to retreat. The Komodo dragon, sensing a new threat, froze, turned its head, and tried to circle around the people. But the rescuers formed a semicircle, driving it further away from the elephants. The monitor lizard finally retreated, slowly disappearing into the dry grass of the savannah. The elephant stood still for a few more seconds, trumpeting loudly, then turned to her calf, sniffed it with her trunk, and gently nudged it closer to her. The rescuers stood at a distance, watching to make sure the predator did not return. The tension gradually subsided, but the air was still thick with anxiety, and the elephant clearly remained on guard, shielding her baby. When the threat receded and the monitor lizard disappeared into the dry bushes, the rescuers slowly approached the elephant and her calf, keeping their hands visible so as not to scare the frightened animal. The elephant was still trumpeting nervously, her ears spread wide and taking sharp steps toward the people, showing that she was ready to defend herself. But the group worked together seamlessly. Two experienced employees distracted the elephant with soft sounds and smooth movements, while another checked on the baby from a safe distance. They noticed a deep scratch from the monitor lizard's claws on the baby elephant's leg. The wound was not life-threatening, but it needed to be treated urgently. One of the rescuers took antiseptic, bandages, and a long stick with a soft tip out of his bag, so that, if necessary, he could gently push the mother away or move the bushes without harming the animals. Several long minutes of intense work passed. While one rescuer spoke in a quiet, soothing voice, the other carefully treated the wound and applied a light bandage. The baby elephant trembled and whimpered quietly, but no longer screamed, sensing that the danger had passed. The mother elephant was breathing heavily, but seeing that the people were not harming her calf, she gradually stopped waving her trunk threateningly. When the treatment was finished, the rescuers slowly moved away, allowing the mother to approach her baby again. They decided to stay nearby and watch the elephants to make sure the baby did not get worse. When the rescuers were sure that the baby elephant could walk without serious difficulty, they decided to move further away, leaving the animals alone. The elephant carefully scanned the savannah, as if checking to see if the monitor lizard had returned. Convinced that there was no danger, she gently nudged the baby with her trunk, and they slowly made their way to the nearest grove, where there was more shade and moisture. Their steps were heavy but confident, and even from a distance, it was clear how the mother was protecting her calf's every step, shielding it with her body. The rescuers followed them for a while, keeping their distance to make sure that the elephant and her calf could safely leave the dangerous area. Gradually, the silhouettes of the animals disappeared behind the hill, and silence reigned over the savannah once again. The rescuers exchanged glances. Today they had managed to prevent a tragedy, but the wild is always full of surprises. They turned around and headed back to their base to prepare for their next call. Thank you for watching until the end. Please like and subscribe to our channel to support us. See you next time.